YouTube, welcome back to the Roms video. And in today's video, we're doing the final part of the Candace Owen versus 20 Feminists Jubille. And listen, part 2 was actually good, man. Part 2 was actually really good. I think, to be fair, if I had to do in football terms, I'll be honest, it's like, Candace, I think, has got the first part. I think she's winning the first bit. And I think the feminists have actually got a good back. I can't lie. I didn't expect the feminists to be doing well, I'll be honest. So, you know what? They're doing a good thing. Some of them are cringe, I'll be honest, some of them are cringe, but in reality, I got to say fair play at the end of the day. So if you guys haven't watched part 1 or part 2, or if you guys haven't watched part 2 yet, make sure you go click this video off and go watch part 1 or part 2 if you guys have missed all that type of stuff as well, because you guys have missed a lot. It was actually quite funny. But if you guys come up to this series and all that type of stuff as well, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff as well. Let's get straight into it, and this is going to be the final part. Grab your popcorn, let's go.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Jenny.
Candace.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You said that feminism is easier for men, or is...
It's made things, I think, easier in society for men. Yeah. Now men don't have to commit, and they're being offered sex from women for free. So they have to actually effectively do less and be motivated less, because feminism has kind of insisted on this culture of sex and hooking up. And I think that has been a net.
You know, on that point as well, I don't know whether to actually say it now or kind of do it. Actually, I'm going to say it now, actually. On this point, I disagree with Candace. I do disagree with Candace. I do acknowledge the point that, yeah, the sex is more easy and type of stuff as well. But I would say it's made things easier for the 1 to 2% of men. Let's be honest. It's made things a lot more easy for the 1 to 2% of men. Not for the majority of men. Some men it has, but in reality, we're talking about majority of men, it hasn't made things easier. Because, let's be honest, man, most guys nowadays are struggling with women, man. And you guys see it, man. You guys even watch my videos, man. Some people have to have a game. Some people it's just a hard watch in the day. And, you know, we live in a world now. I think it was way more easy to get laid as a man back in the day compared to now, in my opinion. Women are kind of like throwing it about a little bit more. They kind of don't really care. They're not really doing the morals and shit like that. But they're doing it to the 1 to 2% of guys, not doing it to every single guy at the end of the day. So I think feminism made it more harder for men. I genuinely think feminism made it more harder for men. I think back in the day, I think women probably used to live harder lives than men back in the day. But then now, with all the opportunity, I generally think now that the thing is, the pendulum has swung now. I think men do live, in terms of an actual society point of view, that men live harder lives, because there's not much opportunity for men to become successful, or even the media doesn't really glorify as men as much as women, which is not a problem, which is fine, but I'm just acknowledging what the actual reality is at the end of the day. And for the 1 to 2% of men, it's very, very difficult. And even to get to 1 to 2% in the first place is very difficult in the first place. So I generally think feminism has made it more harder. I actually disagree with Candace on this one, but she could prove me wrong. I want to see her take on it. I haven't really seen her take on it yet, but I want to see the feminists take on it too, and let's get at it.
It's negative for women.
On good faith, I just want to say, I think you're approaching this with like the best interest for women. Like, you think that is negative for women and harmful. And I think in some aspects we can agree to that. Yeah. I do think that there are some aspects of sex work or OnlyFans or whatnot that maybe men are definitely the huge consumers of. But if we are so concerned with women putting that out for free, it's charged, right? They're making money off of it. Then why are we not putting the onus more on men for being the one that is in control of that demand, right? So we can take away the supply, or, condemn it all we want. But if there's no onus on men to be the consumers of said products, then wouldn't you think that would solve the issue that you're bringing?
I 100% agree, man. I 100% agree with that. And she's actually smart for this, man. And I respect that so much. Men are the problem in terms of OnlyFans. OnlyFans will be going off the business tomorrow if men were not simps. Women are just playing the game at the end of the day. Yes, obviously you can blame some women, of course. But in reality, if you've got to look at more of a deeper level, and I've talked about this in the last first two parts, if you guys haven't watched it, you got to think deep, not wide. Men are the consumers of OnlyFans and porn. So if men stop being simps and men start getting the act together, the women would be sharing it. Some women that would finesse men would be sharing it, because they'd be like, oh shit, I can't monetize my sexuality anymore. Do you get what I mean? So you got to look at the men. I keep saying it, and even some men might even like it as well. But we have to be honest, guys. We have to be honest. Most men are the problem at the end of the day. For women's actions, like, it is what it is.
Yeah, I actually agree with you on that, and I really get to that. I want to be very clear. When I say that I'm anti-feminist, this does not mean that I do not also criticize men. I think that's something that people get very wrong. 1000% agree. I believe the problem was seeded by the feminist movement. I think the sex revolution and telling women, I mean, literally these people were protesting. They didn't have their shirts on. And this used to be just, your grandparents couldn't even imagine this, like women walking down the street and having their boobs out and their butts out on Instagram. And it created an environment where men then had to work harder for a woman's affection, for a woman to take her clothes off, sex education in the classroom. There's this huge myth that people were just doing it, like, you know, oh, we might as well teach them because the children are just doing it. Actually, before they introduced sex education, the majority of high school graduates were graduating with their virginity intact. And then within 10 years of sex education, we saw a reversal. So I'm saying feminism actually seeded the problem. And now the problem is bad. And it's also bad for men. It's harmful for men to be constantly exposed to pornography and soft pornography. And I think it actually, in many ways, emasculates men.
Okay.
But I would say they are the main social benefactors of that culture because, well, first and foremost, as we're talking about women who have to kind of pick one or the other or try to manage both, and can we have it all? Like, no, you can't have it all. On a day where I really feel like I gave a little bit more to my career, I ache because I go, okay, but like now I feel like I didn't give the same amount to my children. And it's a constant push and pull and it never feels enough. It really doesn't feel enough.
So like to a degree, I think that feminism does benefit men. I think that it allows men to be more emotionally intelligent, allows them to understand what that looks like and also be able to connect with other people, right? But at the same time, there's so much work that feminism has done for women that to say that it benefits men more, I don't think is an accurate statement. For example, Title IX has made it very possible for women to go to college 600% more so, right? And I think that that is a huge benefit that we can credit to the feminist movement. Though I understand your point though of trying to say that like sex work is harmful for women and more beneficial for men because they're benefiting from it the most, but at the
I don't think it's benefiting either though. Like, I don't think it benefits women, I don't think it benefits men. Yeah, cool, yeah, you get a little, you bust a nut and then yeah, you have 2 to 3 seconds of, you know, happiness. But longer term, it affects your mental health. Pornography affects your mental health a lot. Like, you probably know some people that have a porn addiction and they're just fucked up because they look at every woman as just sex objects, every single one woman. But instead of that, they're not having a normal conversation. They're just thinking sexually. They're thinking porn and stuff like that. And plus as well, porn is not real as well. Like, people like try to use porn to like, actually people try to use porn to actually do in the bedroom, but reality that's just not how it works. That's literally just not how it works. It's the most unrealistic thing that happens in the day. So that's another thing as well. Like, people use porn to think they get, you know, sex education, but reality it's not, bro. It's actually not.
Same time.
You got to do the action. But I keep saying you have to do the action. You can't just look at something and thinking, yeah, I'm going to know off it. You have to do the action and find out for yourself.
You think they're also suffering from it. Does that not contradict your point?
Yeah, so I disagree on the fact that, and we do agree that more women are going to college, more women than men are graduating with college degrees. And despite that, people are saying that we still live under a patriarchy. Women are free to start their own companies. Women are free to pay women whatever they want to pay. Women could hire, and in some cases do hire all women. And so I don't really understand, which wasn't your argument to be fair, the idea that even with all of that freedom, women are still not able to achieve what men are able to achieve. I think college education actually has increased women's stress. And I'm talking about in terms of how expensive it is. And I know you're gonna then say, well, the solution to that is we have to then move the goalpost. And I'm guessing here.
No,
but like college should be free. Everything should be free. He thinks.
Well, I think
we just need more free stuff, and obviously nothing's free. We're just gonna tax us.
If I could interject, 100%. I just want to say, I think the issue that we keep coming back to is that you believe that women would be happiest in the home where they don't have to work, and I think most people in general probably wouldn't like want to work.
Yeah, in today's age, I probably would agree. Like most women nowadays, because they've been indoctrinated. Like, they wouldn't be happy in the home and stuff like that, to be fair.
But I think the main issue that we keep avoiding is that this is not an issue created by feminism. This is an issue created by capitalism.
Yeah, so I've heard this argument that it's an issue created by capitalism.
But you don't agree? You think feminism is the greater issue than the system? I think
that now the issue
more money to live?
Well, we have to spend more money to live, right. I think in large part because feminists got duped by the government. And I think we just keep further enslaving ourselves to the government. I'm not a person who believes in big government. And yet you find that feminists are constantly like, well, we can deal with the college issue. We just need more government.
She's going to get kicked out.
We can deal with the, needing to have more.
But she's actually respectful though. Like she's listened to what Candice is saying. I think her point was made. She's very valid as shit. Is she actually a feminist? Because you don't actually look like
benefits.
one.
We just need more government. So it's like, okay, let's just tax every household 100%. And I'm trying to prevent that. And I'm saying that there was a time in America, and what's aspirational for me is I was, raised in part by my grandparents. They were very happy. They were just, I lived in that environment of what that looked like. And I think for many of people who didn't grow up there, feminism has taught us, and I say this as someone who had to take feminism 101 courses when I was in college, that it was like this nightmare, and people weren't happy, and people were suffering, and women were
suffering.
People, were being forced, and that there weren't actually these things that just marriages that worked, that the women actually weren't disempowered by being the CEOs of their household.
Well, allowing women to have more choice and freedom and agency to leave.
Sorry, you've been voted out by the majority.
I did enjoy this conversation. Very respectful.
Really? She really thought she gained aura. Nah, reload that one more time. Bro, she just, like...
I was thinking that a lot of your claims are very contradictory, saying that we live in a matriarchy, that men benefit.
Oh, by the sound of her voice, I know exactly what's gonna happen, man. Alright, let me start here. Let me stop here.
I would like to understand why, again, you think that men benefit from feminism more?
Basically, because men don't have to commit to women. Men are still able to do what they're doing, and they are allowed to basically step away from all of the responsibilities of what it really meant to be a man and lead a household. And that's in large part, I think, due to the sexual revolution.
I mean, is it really bad that we don't have to give men the chase? Don't they have gratification from chasing us? Like, it's a hunter versus prey situation to me. So I feel like a lot of relationships, especially back then, were based on trying to get to home run like very fast. And now that we have the freedom to not commit and not tie ourselves to one man for the rest of our life, I just don't necessarily think that's bad. I just don't think the revolution has decreased our value. We're not chewed gum. We're people who value connection, and sex doesn't always have to have this deep meaning. It is just connection and intimacy between two people who trust each other. And why do we have to deny women that gratification? Like, men, you say, that are wired to want that. Why not women? Why?
I don't think women are wired to have sex the way we do. Like, I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't care. We as guys, like, let's be honest, we have someone that we just put in the sex zone, and we have someone that we actually want a wife. Maybe I might be wrong. Listen, girls, you guys might be claiming me for this, but I don't think women do that. Maybe some women might do that, but I think when women actually have sex with a guy, they actually want to have more of a deeper connection. I think that's just how they're wired, because I think when it comes to they're more emotionally invested into it than guys. Like, we could just like fuck a girl and just kind of kick her to the curb and leave it. And this sounds fucked up, but this is what we do at the end of the day. We could just fuck a girl, kick her to the curb, be like, yeah, just want to use it for sex, and then move on to the next one. But I don't think women do that. I don't think women can do that. You obviously got Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips, but they're anomalies, man. They're just anomalies. Like, and maybe some other girls do that shit, but in general, I don't think women can have sex without maybe a deeper connection. And I might be wrong. Like, I'm always open for ideas. I just truly believe that.
Well, again, I go back to just our basic biological differences. There was a really interesting book that was done by a biophysicist. He, I think, recently passed away, named Edward O. Wilson, where he just sort of breaks down the biological arguments. Basically, he looks in the wild to see the behavior of animals. His thesis is just that you basically can never beat your own biology. And then he kind of compares it to what we see here as just humans and our social interactions, and things that have been abundantly clear when you look at every civilization over time, whether it's from, 400 BC to LA today. What are these habits that you can see that never go away? And people coming together and starting families is one of these things, because we are biologically wired to find a family, to settle down, and to have children. And I think when you have women that are going out and they're giving all of the goods up for free.
The goods?
The goods. I'm not going to say, the goods up for free. Men are not.
The goods for free from men, and that we are very happy with those.
You can certainly do that, and there's
connections. We're not.
But then you'd be called a hoe. I mean, Like, do you really want, like, let's be honest, look at me in the camera, man. Do you, as a girl, do you really want to be going around fucking with a lot of men? Like, really? Like, I know you guys are laughing, I know you guys are smiling, you might be thinking who's this weirdo to stare at the camera. Earphones are falling out as always, but do you really think that you want to be fucking around with a lot of men? Or do you want to find the right man that takes care of you? You're going to pick the lie. Although, in terms of guys' point of view, we do the opposite. We're hardwired to spread our seed. And I'm not saying that, you know, it's a good thing to be fucking around a lot of women. I'm going to make a video about that, actually. It's going to be a little spoiler about why it's not cool to be fucking around a lot of women and shit like that as a guy point of view. I'm going to make a video on that soon. But going back to that, it's just like, as a woman, you can't, like, I mean, you can do it. I won't say you can't do it, but you just won't feel happy. You just generally won't feel happy. Like, it's just not something in nature that you do. You don't see women with multiple husbands. Like, where does that happen? I think, like, with kings, you had multiple wives and stuff. You don't see the other way around.
Salmon, we're not made to breed and have families and then die.
You are welcome to do that. I'm just saying that when it comes
wait,
to
hold on. Did she say we're not made to breed and have families and die?
Very
you
happy
can
with
certainly
those
do that, and there's
connections. We're not sockeye salmon. We're not made to breed and have families and then die.
I mean, I think we are. I think all humans, we are. I think we are made to breed and family and die. I generally think that's what it is. What else is life than just reproduction? What else is there to life? That's just how it is. We're just here to reproduce and that's it. Yeah, cool, we have the modern technology and stuff like that today and all that type of stuff. Yeah, I 100% agree with it. But let's be honest. In a biologically hardwired situation, we are just there to reproduce. That's all it is. Like, we're just atoms to what happens years and years and years and years and years ago before any of you guys existed. So it's mad.
You're welcome to that. I'm just saying that when it comes time for you to find a partner, you may find yourself in a circumstance where men don't value you as high because men like you spoke to, men like to compete. They like to feel like they've won something.
I'd like to deprive men of that because they don't need to have that. Sure. That's actually
but you did bring up
yeah, and that's what you say, that men are, you know, essentially predatory, and we have the goods that we have to keep from them.
Oh, I didn't mean the goods in a bad way.
But that's such an objectifying way. The goods, the grocery goods.
Honestly, I think that that's just kind of in
don't have value
colloquial songs today.
Soul.
I think.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm a bit honest. Like, this is gonna sound really fucked up, but let's be honest. If girls didn't have tits or ass, or if they didn't have any sexual thing, I don't think most men would be speaking to you guys. I'm being completely honest. I don't think most men would be speaking to girls if they didn't have sex with them. I really think that. Like, and it's just this is just how the reality is. I just don't think most guys would be speaking to girls if they didn't have sex. I generally just think that. Like, let's be completely honest. Do you really think guys on dates, bro, would be like, you know what, tell me more about your problems? Tell me, I know how guys work. They're not there just to care about your problems. Yeah, cool, maybe some guys will, of course. I'm not saying all guys are like this, but most guys are just there just to B and G, bro. We're horny. We're just dogs. We are just dogs. And you generally think, like, cool, I'm not saying your personality is not dismissed. I'm not saying that. Like, your personality should not be dismissed. Like, you have every right to have your personality and stuff like that. But men don't care. We don't care, man. Life is difficult how it is, man. We just want to beat, bro. Like, we just want to smash something, bro. Like, that's just how it is. Like, someone needs someone. You know the meme where someone has to put their hand on the shoulder, stuff like that. How do you tell them, man? How do we actually tell them how men actually view?
Have value apart from how many people we sleep with, how many, like, you also
I agree with that. It shouldn't be that way where, you know, we actually should value the person, but that's just not how it works, man. That's just fairy tale land, bro.
Value education for women, and I think that's very interesting because you're also a very educated woman, and in a lot of ways, this is just like an observation. You devalue yourself a lot.
I definitely do not feel like I'm devaluing myself.
Make him a sandwich?
Yeah. Yes, which is the title of my book.
Yes, feed your...
That's mad. That's even me, that's a mad statement. That make him a sandwich, bro. Come on, bro. Like...
and everything, feed the people that you love. Because family isn't defined just by your partner or your kids. Family is community, and you should care about your community. And understanding that... I just don't think you really care about the community that much when you're pushing this rhetoric of devaluing women so much to stay in the kitchen, stay within the homes. And also saying that they're wasting money on college when education is very important. There's a lot of female scientists.
Pause.
There's
You've been
so much
voted
that I
out.
want to say.
Sorry. You've been voted out. Thank you.
Hello.
That girl wants to get back on it. Bro, she's eager.
Hello.
Bro. I'm telling you, she's
Hi,
actually.
how are you?
What's your name?
I'm Zola Stone.
Very nice to meet you, Zola. You have very pretty eyes.
Thank you. So you keep talking about OnlyFans and Kim Kardashian and
Man, bro, I'm not a big fan of face tats, man. Truthfully, man. Listen, I'm just not a big fan of face tats.
well, I do OnlyFans.
Okay.
And I'm a stripper.
Okay, so this is gonna be very, very interesting then. So she does OF, which you know what? Got opinions on that, but let's actually hit the point first. Let's hit the point.
as well.
So you're in the sex industry.
Well, I'm mainly a recording artist, but in time I'm celibate. I still consider myself a woman of God. And so, you know, not all of us are just out there just, oh, hey, showing the goods, you know, like we do respect our bodies still. So I don't like that you
Hold on, I missed that point. Hold on, guys.
artists,
My bad.
but I do that to.
Sorry, I just
Well, I do OnlyFans.
Okay.
And I'm a stripper as well.
So you're in the sex industry.
Well, I'm mainly a recording artist, but I do that to fund the music.
Okay.
But, you know, you're saying basically that we kind of like devalue ourselves, but at the same time, I'm celibate. I still consider myself a woman of God.
How do we tell her, man? How do we oh my days, here we go. I love when girls say this, man. I'm celibate. You know, I'm a woman of God. Bro. Alright, let me actually hear what she's saying, man. I'm not gonna just go straight jump into it.
And so, you know, not all of us are just out there just, oh, hey, showing the goods, you know.
I do agree with that, though. A lot of people actually think OnlyFans are the most host, but I disagree. I probably actually agree with that. I do agree with that. Not all girls who do OnlyFans are actually like that. Some girls that actually don't even have many bodies. It's the behind the scenes girls that are the worst. It's the hijabi girls, the church girls. I'm telling you right now, I truly believe, and this is really, I have controversial opinions, I don't even care. The more religious the woman is, I generally think the more of a host she is. I generally think that. Not all, but some girls, I generally think, yeah, cool, you know, you're with God, you know, that stuff. Good. Like, good. I'm not dismissing that in any type of way. But I definitely think he had, especially the 40. Bro, and this is just my intrusive thoughts thinking right now. I definitely think he had some mad shit happening, bro. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, like we do respect our bodies still. So I don't like that you kind of put.
I disagree, man. I'm sorry. You can't do OnlyFans respect your bodies. You can't sexualize yourself and then respect your bodies. I can hear what she's saying in terms of like you're not fucking around with a lot of guys. Okay, I hear it, but you don't respect yourself if you do OnlyFans. I'm gonna say sorry for that. Fuck it, I don't even care. You're not respecting yourself if you do OnlyFans. You don't respect yourself. You're broken, you know, something's going on with you, you're too money motivated, some environment's going on. Listen, I want to hear her story because it might not be her fault, she may have a fucked up background. Then I kind of hear what she's saying. But you're not respecting yourself if you do OnlyFans. Most guys are gonna just use it just to fuck you and that's it. And things as well, this is another thing as well, I've already said this before. How the hell are you doing OnlyFans and you expect guys not to objectify you or sexualize you? And then you got the same complaint and say, oh, well, there's too many guys that sexualize me and this. But you're the one that market your sexuality. You benefit from this. You generally benefit from this. So I don't get the thinking that these OnlyFans girls say that, oh, you know, guys should be sexualized. Yeah, of course, guys should be sexualized. Guys are going to sexualize any girl regardless. Even if she's wearing the most precious clothing ever, they're still going to sexualize you. But there's levels to it, man. That shit, you're just a top level. They're going to sexualize you, man. You're going to be the most. Give an example. So why the hell are you doing OnlyFans and expect not to get sexualized? You can't have your cake and eat it. You're doing OnlyFans, cool. You want to make your money, fine. But you got to suffer the consequences. You can't just pick and choose. Yeah, I can do this while not suffering no consequences. That's not how life works. It's not how life works. Because this pisses me off, bro. It just definitely pisses me off because sometimes some women can be delusional with this thing where like, yo, well, you know, you're sexualizing yourself. You can't be mad if a guy's sexualizing yourself because guys just care about you just because they want to get in your panties. Done.
That's all in one box. Because of that.
So we have to, in order to have debates, we have to make generalizations. Of course, there can be some exceptions to the rule. But what I'm trying to understand is...
I actually do, yeah. I don't, not all the time in debates you have to generalize yourself because if you just generalize yourself, then it's just pretty much black and white. I don't agree with that.
How can you say that you're not, you know, giving up your body if you are a stripper?
That's what I'm saying. You're literally being a prostitute. You are. You just generally are, man. Like, you're giving up your body by being a stripper. Like, and you're a stripper and an OnlyFans. Oh my God. Like, oh my days, man. Yo, send her back home, man. Send her to flipping Asia or something, bro. Send her to flipping Afghanistan or something, man. Abdul get the rocks. Abdul get the rocks.
Celibate. I still want to get married. I still want to have kids. And for some of us, it's hard for us to have kids.
Yes, because you're doing OnlyFans. Internet's forever. That's how it's gonna work. Like that's the path you've taken, and you can't complain. Listen, I respect girls that listen if they do OnlyFans and stuff like that, but they know that listen, they're probably not gonna find a man, and they're probably not gonna be taken seriously, and they accept it. I'll be like, all right, cool. At least you know like what the consequences are going on, and you're still like I still value. She's probably a really good person. I'm not devaluing her as a person, but from a sexualized relationship point, you've devalued yourself. You're essentially just you devalued yourself because you've only doing it. You sold your soul, you sold your body, and the internet's forever. Hell no, I'm not marrying a stripper. Hell no, I'm not marrying an OnlyFans person. Hell no, I'm not signing a fucking porn star. Hell no. Bro, do you think on my wedding day I'm going to be laughed about flipping seeing scenes of my girl getting fucking fucked by Tyrone? Are you taking the piss? Are you taking the piss? Like, bro, nah, Tyrone's going to be there. Yo, look, I've clapped your girl, bro, on the wedding day. Are you flipping take the piss while I'm there flipping, yeah, I'm there. I'm like I'm a cook, bro. Both of them Travis Hunter or something like that, bro. What are you talking about, man? Like, she needs to realise that, yeah, if you're doing OnlyFans or you're being a stripper, the consequences are you're less likely to get married. Less guys are going to take you seriously. And if you accept those facts, cool. Do whatever you want. It's her life at the end of the day. But I just hate when people complain about the consequences like you didn't see this coming. And if you didn't see this coming, then at the end of the day, then you shouldn't be doing it without any guidance. She should have guidance. But she needs God. She does need God. And I know she says, yeah, bro, I mean, she just needs God, bro.
And I've also dealt with sexual abuse since a child, you know.
Okay, so. Yeah, that's what we don't condone. Okay, we don't condone the sexual abuse and stuff like that. Like, I told her, she probably had a fucked up upbringing, so I can't blame her too much. But she has to take accountability, man. You can't, even me, you can't say she can't take accountability. Like, she probably did have fucked up background and shit like that. But yeah, we don't condone this. We don't condone that bit, man. Like, yeah, we don't condone that.
Oh. I wasn't doing any sexual work as a child, you know, and still went through things like that.
Yeah. So I first want to say, perfectly sympathetic to everything you're saying, especially if you come from an environment where you've lived through something when you're a kid. It makes it infinitely harder. And it's actually a reason why so many people turn to sex work because they don't have that structure at home that gives them, I think, other options. But would you agree with me that if you could, like, that wouldn't have...
I went to college for music production.
For music production.
I went to LA recording school.
Okay, so did you decide to be a stripper because of economic restraint or because of freedom?
For freedom. You know, we want the choice to do whatever we want with our bodies.
Okay.
You know...
Listen, I agree. She should have a choice to do it. But I keep saying it. But when there's a choice of something, there's consequences. For example... If I'm producing YouTube full time, there's probably gonna be times where I don't get a paycheck because it's not sustainable. It fluctuates and stuff like that. But I'm willing to accept it. I can't start going complaining, saying that it's too difficult because people send me hate. If I'm posting content, that's what me posting content. Expect not to get hate, bro. Bro, like my most popular video is just me getting hate. Like I don't care what people think, and I'm thinking people that give me the hate. I'm doing something right. I'm generally doing something right, and people probably hate me right now. Fine, bring the hate on. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love it. I generally do love it, man. So keep it coming.
I don't think it matters if you do want to dress how you want to dress. That doesn't mean you can. You know, sexually abuse or sexually harass.
Okay,
I agree. You can't sexually abuse or sexually harass, but you can't. But there's consequences, though. That's the thing I just don't get. Like, I'm like a broken record, so I'm not gonna say anything. But you just can't do the stuff she's doing and expect not people just to praise you. Like, it just can't.
Men that are being brought into the strip clubs to watch you, do you think that they're walking away and going, I did that because that woman was empowered to take off her clothes? Or do you think that they're actually devaluing women?
No, I get it. I used to be that hypocrite, you know? I said things that I said I would never do anything like that, you know? Like, I totally get that. But some people just want to go to the club and have a good time.
Yeah, I think most of the people who are making those decisions are doing it because they're dealing with addictions themselves. I think you're worth more than taking your clothes off. I think that if you wanted to have a career in music, you wouldn't have to take...
Yeah, because she has a good career. That's the thing I don't even get. Bro, she does music. Like, she can generally be an actual good person. Like... But it's too late for her. Even if she takes this thing off, internet's forever. People are going to still devaluate her regardless, because we'll know from the Jubille episode as well. Now she's opened up that she's a stripper and she does sex work. People are just going to like tell her not take her seriously, even if she stops. So, like, that's the thing I don't get. Like, the thing I would get is if she had nothing else, and I'd be like, and that's the only option. I'll be like, all right, cool, I hear it. But you had a college degree and you still managed to do it. It's mental.
Goes off to do that, and I think that it's sad that.
It's so hard. I'm not even just. She's just an example, but it's so sad how some women are just blind to think sex work is the best way of doing it. Please, women, if you guys, some women are watching this, please, just don't get into sex work. I beg, just don't. Like, you're valued more than that. Like, I'm being deadly serious. I swear to God. Like, you have way more better value than just being sexualized all the time. You can pursue your career, or you can be a good husband. A good wife. Sorry, a good wife to your husband, man. Like, there's much more to stuff than just freedom. There's freedom in terms of, yeah, you get to do whatever you want, but there's consequences on that too. Like, you have to realize there's consequences on top of that too, man. Like, it's so sad, man. I do feel sorry for her. Like, she probably has been brought up in the foot background and stuff like that. But, I mean, I have to criticize her, but I have to also feel sorry for her at the same time, man, because a lot of women are like this. They're just broken. No guidance. No father figure. No brother. No male authority. They're just there. They believe social media. They just believe that this is the way of doing it, but they don't realize the consequence that happens. Like, it's a fucked world we live in. It's an evil world we live in. Men are going to sexualize you. If you do that shit, you're not going to be taken seriously if you do that. So please, women, please, just stop sexualizing yourself, and you're gonna be more happy. I'm telling you, you're gonna be way more happy, man. Like, it's a serious topic.
Every story is different.
Every story is different, but I do think that, you know, we can make a generalization.
I was at that point where I was going to college. I was working 3 jobs. I used to be a nurse, so. You just don't know the situations. You don't know how life is going to turn out. It's going to be ups and downs. But no, I didn't want to do it. But in my situation and things that I went through, it's something that
But I'm actually really glad that you said, no, I didn't want to do it, and you were put in a situation where you had to do it, because I think that's really honest. And I think the problem that I find with feminism is that it's a dishonest movement.
All right, guys, pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not judging.
She's definitely judging, man. Stop lying.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Catherine. Candace.
You brought up a book about that we're going to biology, and that biology is what we should organize society on, based on like what skills men are good at.
I can restate what I said. There is a book, and the argument that's being made is that you can't outthink your biology is the easiest way to say it. So feminism, I would say, is a movement where they're trying to outthink biology, meaning that all we have to do is this, and that, and then magically we're going to be transformed, and that desire within us to want to start a family is just going to like die, or we're going to be happier doing this thing. And I think the answer to that is no.
Right. I would argue that our biology does not have as much of an effect on the things that we choose to do with our careers, with our life choices, as you think it does. Our closest ancestors are chimps and bonobos. Bonobos are matriarchal, chimps are patriarchal. So, and our previous societies have run egalitarian for millennia. It's not been this inherent desire for men to rule a certain way and women to rule another way. It has been egalitarian, it's been matriarchal, it's been patriarchal, because there are things that go into affect, like your situation, your personality, that make you better at doing something than just your biology. I know many quiet, nerdy men that would not be good leaders, and I know many strong women, and vice versa. Like, it does not matter as your testosterone, the hormones you emit, is not going to have as much of an effect as I think you think it does.
I totally think it does. And so that's why, let's getting back to college, since I'm assuming you support women going to college.
Yeah.
Can you explain why there is, when they can freely choose, why there is such a difference in the majors that women choose versus the majors that men choose when they get to college?
Well, I think it's also important to note that things are changing, and there's like many initiatives to get more women into STEM, to get women into higher paying career fields. When women have been kept out of these fields for so long, it's a slow and steady race to get them there. It's not that women are not choosing them, they're slowly learning that this is okay for them to choose.
I mean, I would say 60, 70 years ago, I would agree with her that women didn't have the opportunity to get into high-paying fields. But I think nowadays, I think women just choosing not to get into the high-paying fields because it requires a lot of stress, as in that. And I mentioned that, I don't know if I mentioned it before, or maybe mentioned in the second part, something like that. But I just don't think women are choosing it to have high-paid jobs most of the time. I just don't think they're choosing the stressful, high-paying jobs because the high-paying jobs require a lot of stress. There's a reason why. For example, let me talk about my point of view, because I do sales, right? And sales is a high-paying skill. But for me, sales is difficult. It is difficult. Like, even to this day, like, I've been doing sales for at least, since I was 18, so about 2 years now. Like, I've been doing sales for 2 years. And I say I do have a decent amount of sales experience. And it's probably made me who I am today, because I'm able to speak on the camera, and I can use sales techniques when I speak to you guys and create YouTube and stuff like that. But besides the point, right? Sales is a high-paying skill, but the whole point of it is that it's very, very difficult. Like, that's the thing. And then women, and I know a lot of women that I talked about, oh, why not do sales then? Be like, oh, it's too difficult. And then, okay, that's fine. Like, you can say it's too difficult. And I know a lot of women that are successful in sales, and they're getting paid all right, in my opinion. They don't complain they're getting paid all right. They're getting paid goods, bro. They're getting paid easy 6 figures minimum. So, some women just kind of complain that, yeah, we're not getting paid that much, but sometimes you're just not choosing the right fields. You're just choosing to rather do a low skill office job, which is fine, but just don't complain that, yeah, you should be getting paid more. Like, I just don't get it. And this is a bit of a controversial take, but I'm going to say anyway.
There's more women in STEM, there's more lawyers, there's more women are making up strides to those positions, so it's not like they're sedentary and they're staying in these humanities or arts fields.
I don't think you're being honest. I think like, did you go to college?
I mean, I'm in college. I know that
women aren't, it's not because they're not pressured, it's because when quite literally they say, what are you interested in? Women flock to certain things. They just do. We do. We as a whole do. It tends to be, and this is because we are biologically wired, and even when a child is born, when a woman, like a female, a child versus a male child, the girls start speaking faster and they speak more words. Just a fact, right? For the rest of their lives. Like, my daughter started speaking, and this is not anecdotal, but I'm giving you an anecdotal example of something that is a real fact. So there's just a biological proclivity there that women like communication. And you see that followed all the way, as an example, into college. Women are drawn toward these careers that are compassionate, emotional, and communicative, which is why you'll see women flooding journalism. That's why even when you see women that are finding success, they are typically in careers that are communicative and compassionate. Women that will say, I want to do psychology, I want to do children's psychology. And so even at the same time that women are saying that they're running away from their biology, so to speak, they are still exhibiting that they very much believe in these determined biological characteristics that I think are something that's just never going to go away.
Right, but I would also bring up that the way that young girls are given dolls, young boys are put in sports. These things that kids learn at a very early age are very impactful in what children like and pursue in the future. It's not simply that I don't think there's a biological gene that women like fashion and men don't. That's why we do see men in fashion. That's why there's actually, at the top of all these fashion houses, a lot of men are in successful positions in fashion.
Yeah, I agree with that. But then again, you can say, but that's when programming comes in, and it goes back to my point. It's like the program to kind of like, it's like another way of making money and stuff like that. And I think nowadays as well, I do probably agree that men are becoming more feminine and women are becoming more masculine. So, and that point where she said in terms of, the dolls and the sports thing, I genuinely think even if you ask a young girl, like, and not in any weird shit. Like, if you ask a young girl, they'd probably prefer. I think most young girls would probably prefer to play dolls and Barbie, whoever it is, than go out being competitive in sports. And if you ask most young boys what they'd rather do, to be fair, it's probably fucked up. They probably actually would pick the dolls. But in general, let's just say maybe 10, 20 years ago when it wasn't as bad, they would probably pick the sports thing, because they, as guys, we're more competitive. Like, we like to win. We just say first place is an option. Like, we won't believe in this last place bullshit or stuff like that. Actually, I'm going to make another video on that. Oh, everyone's a winner. But bullshit, bro. But anyway, that's another video I want to get into. But yeah, just going back to the thing, I do agree with the point in terms of, you know what, maybe nowadays it's not biology hardwired, but in general, it's probably
way in which you teach the children to explore creativity and to play, and what we put women in. We put women in pink rooms, and little girls in pink rooms, and boys in blue rooms. That has an effect.
So, and I'll tell you why I disagree. And I know, because I had my children back to back, that there's a blur here. So I never had to separate them and say, you play with this, you play with that. They were growing up with their toys. I mean, 1 year apart, my daughter and my son. They just are interested in different things. And this is one of the, I think, lies of feminism. And when you actually have children, there may be some exceptional child, but I am telling you, my boy's first word was car. He is obsessed with trucks. He's obsessed with cars. I did not do that. I don't like having to answer his questions about cars. I don't like having to answer his questions about trucks, because my biological proclivities are not designed. I'm just not feeling passionate about engineering and wanting to know how everything works. You don't recognize that. And this is, I think, one of the worst harms of feminism, because I was a feminist when I was in college, or I at least thought I agreed with the movement, because you don't have the family yet. So when they make these arguments that you're making, you think that that's real. You think, oh, well, it's just because you're not giving the child the Barbie doll that they don't love Barbie dolls. And that's not a reality. We are just quite literally different.
I'm so sorry. Time is up.
This will choose a feminist to debate for 10 minutes on the claim for this. Ooh. You know what? I hope she picks the this one right here, man, because she's funny as fuck, man. She's you know, let's see what happens.
I am going to choose Jenny to have a further conversation with, because I thought that it was a respectful dialogue, and I want people to be able to learn from the differences. And I think,
of course, you're gonna pick the easy one, man. Come on, Candice, man. Make it a little bit more entertaining, man. I get why she picked her, but come on, because she's actually very more open-minded.
She is probably the best equipped person to get that done.
Thank you. My claim is that I believe feminism is wrongly interpreted as
anti-men when it benefits both men and women. This was actually what I need to think about.
Anti-men when it benefits both men and women.
It's a great claim. I like that claim.
Thank you.
Okay. So I think that in today's environment, when you look at the messaging that's coming out from self-proclaimed feminists, it's very much an F men can't do anything, women can do bad all by themselves sort of colloquial messaging, which I think is harmful to men and to women. I have seen examples of people that I truly do think are more old school who don't do that. But I think in 2025, we've landed on the side of this. It is, I think, rising to a level of just being anti-men, which is not what I think it was supposed to be aspirationally.
Okay. In response to that, I would just like to say, I think that in all ideologies and beliefs, there is a spectrum, right? And on either side, there's going to be a radical point of view. I do understand how it may come across as negative when women say things like, I hate all men, or F men this, F men that. But I'm also, as a woman, not going to fault other women for having that perspective and fear, because unfortunately our greatest predator is men. Our greatest harm does come from men. And therefore, when women have experienced violence from men, when women have experienced oppression from men, I'm not going to fault them for feeling that way. And
yeah, I do agree with that, because I remember, I think I told this before, I used to never thought the reason why. Because when we used to talk, bro, even back in work, school, like, I hate men, and I never used to comprehend it. And I still don't agree there, because that's just not all men. But there's times where I could understand, bro. Men are creeps, bro. We are actually all creeps. But some men that ruin it for all of us, man. Like, men are creeps. So I do even blend, and the way women like think about it, they think with their feelings, and that's just how they work. That's how biologically hardwired they are. And there's nothing wrong with it. So they're gonna think that all men are like this, but really not all men are like this. So I do hear it. I do hear
expressing such, and I think the onus does rely more on men for acknowledging that these issues do exist. It is harming women, and unfortunately, a lot of men don't listen to women, and they actually would rather listen to other men. While that may seem like negative messaging, if we can get past the idea of, oh, this feels like it's attacking my character, like I feel like feminism is attacking me as a man, then I think that we can have a much more productive discussion and move forward in making sure that this society is better for everybody. And I do believe that feminism benefits men as well. And I think that's also misunderstood and misinterpreted in that when we hear that, instantly we turn off, we don't want to listen, right? But when we look at historically what feminism does, it's actually trying to bring women at an equal level to men, give them the same opportunities and options as men, and also not receive the same judgment that men do for the same actions. And so I believe that when men are exposed to more female role models, when men are exposed to more feminine or feminist leaning women, they actually have higher quality of life. They have deeper conversations that they can have with their loved ones. All the men that I know in my life are feminists. And it is because they are feminists that we all have a beautiful community and beautiful friendships.
So what? I mean, what's she trying to say? She's trying to say that by men being more feminine, then they have more better relationships. I mean, I'm putting the question. I'm not too sure on that. So, I mean, I can't really give an example because I've never really. Do I even actually know male feminists? I don't think I really experienced male feminists, really, man. To be fair, I mean, there probably is loads out there, but I just never really talked to one. So, better relationships. But then again, it just proves my point though, because I always said opposites attract. So if your men's becoming more feminine, then they're going to be more closer. And I don't think men and women can't be attracted by the same habits. I just don't think that works.
Yeah, so I would actually even expand it to say that not only is feminism hostile to men, but it's also very hostile to women. And I think you saw a lot of an example of that today, where there seems to be a reaction when a woman says children are beautiful. It's like, oh my God, how dare you say that, like having a child? And it's like, why is there this instant reaction to people that are traditional? And you see that when we have a society which is really kind of being dominated by what I would call...
Bro, she's shaking her head there, man.
Like this hyper sexual character, like of the Kim Kardashian prototype of feminism, weighed against the other extreme, which would be like the Lena Dunham types who are coming out. Lena Dunham's much more the F men forever. Kim Kardashian is kind of the, when I was saying like, come get everything for free, that sort of a model. And I think both of them reject tradition in a way that there's a little bit of hatred there for women who don't want to climb the ladder and work 45 hours a week for a small paycheck and who actually aspire to marriage. They think that there's something intrinsically backwards about that. They think that there's something wrong with women who are wholesome and happy, and they instantly try to problematize that. And I'd say one of the greatest cultural examples of that today was like the feminist attack on Ballerina Farm, which just kind of came out of nowhere. It was so weird. I'm like, we have an example of every feminist on the cover of everything. And it's like, but no, this woman can't have 10 million followers. She's not allowed to have 10 million followers. We have to take her down. And that to me is the greatest example of what modern feminism has become, because they pretend it's about choice, but in reality, they want every woman to enter the workforce and to pretend that they're happy in the workforce from a 9-to-5 job trying to compete with men. And I think if people are being honest, the overwhelming majority of women are doing that because of financial power, not because they're really happy. And that's why they're binge drinking on the weekends. And
okay, I disagree with that. I think that feminism just gives women options. And if you want to be a stay-at-home wife and you want to be a trad wife, that's fine. Feminism is not, in my opinion, I think a lot of other people agree with me, feminism is not the belief that you can't do those things and we're trying to convince women that they have to work. Mm-hmm. I believe that feminism is, if you want to work, go do that. Go get that bag, But if you don't and you want to be a stay-at-home wife, then there shouldn't be consequences for doing that. And I think the whole ballerina farm discussion is kind of highlighting some of the consequences. We see a woman who wanted to be a ballerina but gave up that passion and dream to be a mother. And I don't think that it's wrong to want both. I think that I think there's value in being a mother. I think there's value in having a family, right? I work with kids all the time as a swim teacher. I love kids. But at the same time, I don't want to have to choose between kids and my career path.
Now, I hear what she's saying. That's why I do think you can have both. That's why I truly believe that you can be a ballerina, but you have to. But the only thing I would say is that you can't do hours. You can't do long hours. That's the only problem. I think as long as you prioritize the kids, but you have your own thing on the side, that's fine. I really think that's fine. I don't believe that should be, you should be stay at home and no work and you just be a bum. Even me, I wouldn't want my girl to be just staying at home and doing nothing. Like, you gotta be doing something. Even I know being a full-time mum is hard itself, but like making money as well and kind of like knowing a little bit of the real world as well. I wanted to know that. So I do believe in both as well. Like, you know, the black and white type of method is like, oh, you have to either have kids or do a career, but you can have both. You can generally have both. I do believe that. I mean, yeah, but then again, there is more. It's going to be a little bit more stress though. So there's consequences to all three.
Issues. And that's another thing, is they just keep rejecting her answering this question 1,000 times. Of course, when you're young and before you have kids, the things that I wanted to do aspirationally has radically transformed. From now that I'm married, it suddenly everything came into focus, and really, I understand that family is what it's all about. It's like you have your first kid and you change entirely. Okay. Your focus changes. And I do find exactly what you're saying is that even when she herself says, this is what I wanted, I was not forced to give up, that's what I wanted when it was just me in my life. And I went to Juilliard and I did what I wanted to do. And I danced as a ballerina. And then my husband moved to support me as a ballerina. And then I got pregnant. And when you have a child, your entire world changes instantly in a moment. And it's hard to describe that to someone who doesn't have a child yet, because when I was there, I didn't understand it either. So I actually would have agreed more with you. Until that moment happens, you don't get it. And so what I'm saying is that to see people constantly try to problematize her life when she's like, I have 8 kids now. It's like, not only do I love kids, I have 8 of them, and I'm cooking, and I'm
8 kids is crazy.
Going to school, and I'm bringing them with me to Ireland. And the attacks on the trad wife culture, it just shows you that there is fundamentally a hatred for tradition. And I think that hatred is being bred into women. And ultimately, when you find those women at 50 who have chased their careers, it has been my experience, and they don't have family, that they suffer from tremendous unhappiness.
Yeah, they'll be there with their cats and dogs in a bungalow by themselves, watching Kim K at 70.
If they've missed that window of opportunity to start a family.
I mean, I would like to disagree with that point that feminism is hating on the trad wife life. I think there is a misrepresentation of that life that's being fed to people. For example, people like Nara Smith and Ballerina Farm they're social media content creators. That is their job, right? So it's not that they're just a stay-at-home mom. Content creation itself, as I'm sure you're aware, is also a job, right? So they are not actually fully trad wives. They also are working. And on top of that, they are marketing this lifestyle that is not attainable by everybody. It's not feasible, and I think you agree with this too, to be spending 8 hours cooking chocolate chip cookies from scratch where you've harvested the cocoa yourself. You know what I mean? And it's not feasible in our current economic system, right? And maybe that's what people want, and that's great. And I don't think feminism is the one that's telling you shouldn't want this. I disagree with that strongly. I think feminism is telling you that if you want to pursue that, that's great. That's for you.
I've never met a feminist that didn't find a problem with the trad wives. And that's my point, is that it's this illusion.
Well, you're meeting one now. Because as soon
as I said something traditional, everyone rejected. I said, you will get more purpose and
I think that's
joy from raising you get joy from raising a child. And everyone acted like when I said you get joy from raising a child, like I had stabbed them in the chest.
Well,
it's like, guys, shouldn't we just like understand that children are like, it's a good thing to inspire to children?
I don't think any of us here hate kids. I think the point is, it's not about, I've mentioned something traditional and this is the reaction that I'm getting from it. It's that it's almost like you're making an assumption that this applies to everybody.
I am making a generalization, and I am saying
that's the problem. Yeah, I'll actually have to agree with the feminist. What's it? Jenny, her name is. I will have to agree on Jenny on this one. I think she's really intelligent, man. And listen, people are saying, "Oh, you're simping. Stop simping. You're such a shut up. So I can't agree with the woman now. Okay, hear it. Anyway, I do actually agree with what Jenny's saying, because I don't think even the biggest feminist will still want kids. That's why I still believe in this day that most people want kids. It's just most people still want kids to this day. So, and the generalization is the problem, because it's just black and white. It's just that, just because 5 people do it, it's every single person. And that's the problem with generalizing stuff. There's not much context and stuff like that. So I will have to agree with Jenny on this one. I can't
reacting to. If the majority of women did not invest time to start a family, women would be miserable. And I think that recognizing that when women start to, like, the biological clock is real, and women start to recognize that they spend so much time trying to climb a ladder and they maybe don't find a partner, and it's harder to find a partner now because, as I said, we have devalued ourselves by giving up sex so freely. I do see that there is an increase in those types of women who are relying on drugs to make them happy, whether they're
but not everybody wants marriage, and not everybody wants a relationship.
I think overwhelmingly, women do want the safety of a relationship and a happy home. And I think that feminism lies to you and tells you that you don't until it's too late. And that is what I do a lot of work trying to get women to understand.
Yeah, no, and I understand that you're trying to...
I'm sorry, that's time. I do apologize.
You have people who are coming because they want to create a social media moment. And these are always, I've done so many events, the most frustrating things, because nobody's learning. And I also think it's something that women that are young need to come to terms with, or they're going to end up on the other side and be miserable and be popping pills, like a lot of women who bought into the illusion of feminism did. So it was frustrating, but also people can see, like, how many times I just wasn't allowed to speak.
It is important to interrupt conservatives, specifically conservatives like Candace, because once you do that, their fallacies will show themselves.
Today, it felt like one conservative, 19 cisgender mainstream feminists, and the weird queer person just kind of hanging out. We absolutely are part of the feminist movement, and I hope the mainstream gets that one day.
I think that Candace herself is a great example that you can do both. And when you have a society and a culture that encourages women to do what they want, how they want, in a way that is safe and healthy, you will see that women can do it all, as she said, and be happy. I don't think that you have to choose between having kids and having a career. And I think that that is like a fundamentally misleading argument.
I guess I would just say we all agree that sandwiches are good. We just disagree on who should be making.
All right, man. Anyway, that is it for this series. Wow, that we got through that 1 hour 38 minutes, 3 parts done. But yeah, I hope you guys actually enjoyed that series, man. It was more of a political. I think the most political I've been on this channel so far. I don't want to get too political because I'm treading waters here, guys. I don't want to get too much of a political thing. But I'll tell you guys, I used to hate politics. I never used to want to get in politics, but I think the more and more you're age, the more and more you realise that you got to be aware of it. I'm not too deep into politics and all that type of stuff, but it's good to be aware. But I hope you guys enjoyed that video in general, man. For this 3-part series. Overall, to be fair, it's a bit of both, man. I'll be honest, like, I do hear what Candace is saying in terms of, traditional values and stuff like that, which I truly believe in myself. But to be fair, even the feminists did cook. Some feminists did cook. Even Jenny, to be fair, she very surprised me a lot. I really thought she would have been like, a lot more of a toxic one or something like that. But I guess, you know what? That's why it's good to always watch and stuff like that, because at least with that, you can always know, like, there's always context and stuff like that. Like, I think the generalization as well is a thing where I don't really like from Candace as well, because when you generalize something, it's just not added context and it's just black and white thing, because majority of people doing that, I'm just saying I'm right and you're wrong. It doesn't work like that, and I know a lot of the people do that shit anyway. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's it for the 3-part series. You guys do want me to do more of these political things? I'm down to do it any day. If you guys want to drop a comment down below, if you guys like, do that to us, all that type of stuff as well. And say, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff as well. As I said, we're close to 100 subscribers, so if you guys can get, we might even hear by the time I even publish this anyway, because I upload every single day. Because this is ROMZ in the building, as I said, and I forgot to tell you guys, we do upload YouTube shorts now, so we're uploading, I did say 1 clip a day, but we might post a little bit more. It just depends on the type of videos. If there's like a lot of good funny moments, I might post even 5, 6 clips a day, all that type of stuff. So we're posting on YouTube Shorts, Instagram, and TikTok. Those are the 3 platforms we're posting on in terms of clips. And obviously the YouTube you guys are on right now, we're obviously posting on that every single day. So we're consistent ROMZ in the building, and we're doing a lot more reaction videos. And there'll be a lot more ROMZ talks coming soon as well, guys. A lot more ROMZ talks are coming soon as well. I've got a few ideas I want to talk about literally as well, which you guys will enjoy, all that type of stuff as well. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. video, and hope you guys have a blessed day. Stay safe, make sure you motivate, don't slack, do what you need to do, and yeah, peace.